Welcome to the Boxing Now podcast. We are back for another one here. I am that dude named Dave here with my main man, Jorge. How's it going, man?
Doing great, Dave. How are you?
I'm great, man. We're back for another episode, man. I can't believe we're still here.
I'm excited to talk about this one, though.
Yes. So before we get started, let's just do all this stuff right now. Like and subscribe on YouTube. If you don't like, you subscribe, I think you're a hater, okay? YouTube is on Boxing Now Podcast. Also on Facebook, Boxing Now. Instagram, Boxing Now Podcast. The website, boxingnowonline.com. Bookmark it. We will have all of our content there in no time. It's going to be built out, and you guys are going to love it. Jorge, you got anything you want to throw out there?
Twitch TV, look for live_dominoes, casual dominoes program, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8 p.m.
So we got all that out the way now. So we are doing our first fight preview.
Good fight to cover. I'm actually kind of excited to catch this fight. It's right at the Saturday, the 2nd of January.
Yeah, what a way to start the new year, people. This is December going into January, the last week, but January 2nd, Saturday, on DAZN, we have Luke Campbell, good fighter, against Ryan Garcia.
Big talker.
Now, this fight was supposed to happen in December, but because of COVID, it was delayed. So now we have it here. Big time fight here. Garcia is 20-0 with 17 knockouts. And we have Luke Campbell here, who has been in this division and fighting the top guys for as long as we can think of here the last several years here. So, Jorge, I want to kick it to you because you have a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of opinions on Ryan Garcia. We both do, but yours is very opinionated, I feel, but you bring a lot of great points when we talk before the show. So I want to hand it to you, and I want to ask you how you feel about this fight here and how you feel about Ryan Garcia as well.
So the fight itself, I think, is a good proving ground for Ryan Garcia. Luke Campbell's been in the ring just as recently with Lomachenko. According to Lomachenko, and I believe he stated this before he fought Teofimo Lopez, that Campbell at that point was his toughest fight at that point. When you watch that fight, Campbell was the taller guy, the bigger guy, and he definitely gave Lomachenko, I don't say a run for his money, but he definitely gave him some looks in the first couple of rounds that definitely made it a little awkward for Lomachenko to fight him the way he probably wanted to fight him at that time. And that was I believe his first fight on the way up into the new weight class for him, right?
Yeah. So this is going to be for the WBC interim title. So this is Ryan Garcia's first major step-up fight. He has not fought a guy in the top 10 yet. And this is a fight that could technically set up really down the line. I don't think in 2021, but I can see it probably in 2022, a fight with Gervonta Davis. He has been angling for this. Like when Gervonta Davis knocked out Santa Cruz. We're gonna keep talking about this knockout, are we or not?
I think before the year's over, it was a beautiful knockout.
It's beautiful.
7th round knockout. Catch it on YouTube, folks.
5th round,
my fault.
Yes.
5th round. Yes. And it was beautiful.
So Ryan Garcia does a lot of talking, and he knows he had his fight coming up, but he knows that boxers know this. Behind the scenes, they do root for guys to win because you're not going to get the big fights if the other guys ain't winning as well. Who wants to make $200,000 fighting bums when you know that you can make $1 million fighting this other guy here, right? So that was, I did like that. Like, you can be an a-hole like Ryan Garcia is. We'll get into that. He's a young brat. Let's just put it out there. He be out there talking mess. He has a big social media background, but he was out there supporting Gervonta Davis in that fight. And I like that, though, when you see competitors say, we want this fight, the fans going to want it, I want it as well, I need to see you win as well. So Gervonta Davis handled business in October. So now Ryan Garcia needs to handle business to show that he is the goods. Ryan Garcia has, like I said, a big Instagram following. The kids love him. When I say kids, people, I want you to know that I'm showing my age. I think I'm young, but I'm 40. I will admit that. I think I am young, but I am 40. Right. But I'm not the guy to say, get off my lawn. I embrace the young kids because I know that you guys who may be watching, I've looked at the numbers. I'm trying to embrace the young 25 to 34 demographic and the 18 to 25 demographic. You guys run the world to a certain degree in sports and in music. Young people are the driving force. So in so many things. So the girls love Ryan Garcia. I was mentioning this here. Like he is Oscar De La Hoya 2.0 to a degree, not accomplishments, but what comes with it. Good looking, Latino, can knock people out, smart with his words, quick wit. Girls love that. The young girls too. A good-looking guy who can knock a dude out, no got to worry about. He can handle his business. The girls love that, man. He don't have the gold medals. He don't have the amateur background. He don't got the signature wins. So I think that's where you come in and you have a problem with him.
And my biggest beef with the young man isn't his ability to box or what he's done up to this point. My problem with the young man is he's basically a TikTok boxer. And I say it,
we're gonna get the TikTok folks gonna hate us here. Hey, don't get on me. This is him here. This is this man here. No matter of fact, I'm gonna put the camera on him right.
Hey.
He said it. I did it. I embrace y'all, TikTok folks.
He's a TikTok fighter. He's a Facebook fighter. And I said he's a YouTube fighter. And I'm gonna say it now, guys. He's just basically a face.
Ooh.
At this point, he hasn't, in my point of view,
low blow.
He hasn't paid his dues. So let me make my point clear on that, right? So previous fighters beforehand, and I'll say previous fighters, previous generations, guys like Julio Cesar Chavez, right? Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya himself, Shane Mosley, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys paid their dues the way you're supposed to. And I'll give you guys some great examples. I'm not coming out here without receipts. I have receipts for all this stuff, guys. So here we go.
Okay.
So this young man is, 21 years old? Correct me if I'm wrong.
21 or 23. I apologize if I get, but I know Gervonta is 23. You know, Teofimo, I believe, is 20, or Gervonta maybe 25. They're all between 21 and 25 years old. So I apologize for not having that exact information.
So let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, he's 22. Okay. 2018, the young man fought 5 times. Which is about right? When you're a young up and coming fighter, you need to get rounds. You need to start generating rounds in that. 2019 since he's only fought 3 times, twice in 2019, and because of COVID once. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for this year, 1 time. That's what back
22. 22. Sorry, to cut you off. Want to make sure our boxing audience know we get these numbers right.
Exactly. So he basically fought 3 times since. I'm sorry, you have not put in the work. You haven't paid your dues to the point where you can actually start calling out what you want at this point in your career. I'm sorry, you're not
to get off my lawn arguments.
You haven't. You just haven't. Guys like Floyd Mayweather, they paid their dues, right? They fought who they've had to fight. They fought the Diego Corrales. They fought the Arturo Gattis. They got to the point where they can actually start dictating what they want. Canelo was no different. He went through the same part of his career where he did the same thing in the super middleweight, in the middleweight division in the junior middleweight division, before jumping into middleweight. Every fighter goes through that period. It's like your rite of passage, right? You don't just get it because I got a big mouth on TikTok. I got a big mouth on Facebook. I got a big mouth on YouTube. I got a big mouth on Twitter. It doesn't fly. It doesn't fly with me. And I think anybody who's followed boxing for a long time, not so much to get off your lawn, guys, but even guys that are just slightly younger than me. I'm a 39-year-old guy, almost 40. But if you're in your 30s, you've watched some boxing, right? And you kind of understand there were some fighters, what you were watching had paid their dues, right? You were already watching Manny at that point, Juan Manuel Marquez. You watch Barrera. You watch some of these guys, and they paid their dues. This young man has not. This man, Ryan Garcia, he fought a gentleman by the name of Carlos Morales, I believe, in 2018. He won that fight by majority decision. The last 4 rounds, he ran his ass off, and not because he was winning comfortably and just wanted to stay away from the fight. No, he got taste of some leather in the first round from a journeyman fighter who's only knocked out 6 knockouts at that point, and basically he tasted the leather and he just didn't get hit in the face. And what you saw the majority of the time was, Garcia won the majority of the rounds, I would say. As I say, it was a 10-round fight, 6-4. It's about right. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was called a draw, because he got hit in the face, and all that man did was protect his face, exposing his body. For a tall guy, and I know because I'm a tall guy myself, if I'm blocking high, I'm exposing a good chunk of my body to blows. And that man exposed himself to blows. He needs work on his defense. He fights too tall for that weight class, and he's asking for fighters who are a little bit more dynamic than the fighters that he's going against right now. And if he goes against a Gervonta Davis, he's gonna get angled. There's gonna be some punches he's not gonna see coming. Same thing from Teofimo Lopez. Same thing from Lomachenko. All those guys can create angles with different punches, with different movements. Lateral movements will hurt this kid unless he works on his footwork, his head movement, and conditioning. Because in that fight, folks, look it up. Carlos Morales, majority decision. He was gassed. The reason he ran in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th round is because he was gassed. So I have questions about his conditioning, not to mention his chin. So I think this fight coming up with Luke Campbell will be an interesting test. I'll be selfish and say I hope he wins the fight because I want him to fight Davis. I want the challenges already. If he wants it that badly, I want it that badly because I feel a young man needs to be humbled.
Man, I didn't say nothing there. I was just absorbing all that. He didn't tell me all this before we got started, people. Wow.
I have a mouthful.
Tell me how you really feel.
It's kind of get off my lawn, but it's again, if you respect any sport and the people who've come before it, you'll understand that perspective and understand that you have to pay your dues like anybody else does.
Well, this is a boxing now first because I didn't say anything for like 5 minutes.
Hey, it's a nice way to begin the new year.
I'm trying to be more quiet more and give Jorge more screen time here because he had a lot.
No, I took it. I took it. There was you gave. No, I took that.
Okay, be careful there. People might take that the wrong way. All right. Hey, calm down.
You can talk now.
Okay. So we have a love-hate relationship here. I can admit we got a bromance over here. It's all good, but I agree and I disagree with you.
Of course you do.
I'm not going to be the old man on the lawn here, people. You're right. Floyd proved it. Olympic bronze medalist, got robbed, should be a gold medalist. Amateur, great career. He was pretty boy until he turned to, heel money. That was an act, but an act that worked. Wow, genius. Oscar. I do not like Oscar De La Hoya, but I always say that just because I don't like a person, I respect them in their craft if they're great at what they do.
Yep.
Oscar, great amateur career, gold medalist, 6th division champion. Say we want him by his personal life, no problem. We can do that. But as a fighter, he fought everybody. He didn't duck anybody. He took his L's. He made mistakes, but he fought everybody. He won. He won more than he lost.
Yep.
Right? Same thing we say about Manny. We can go through the list. All the greats, Roy Jones, we can talk about all these guys, and Ryan Garcia. Of course, the background doesn't fit the mold. But you know what Ryan Garcia does? What I mentioned earlier, the girls love him. You know what that means when the ladies love him? He puts seats in the arena. Now, I know because of COVID, we don't have that. We don't have that part of the revenue for fights right now. But you know what, though? He's heavy on TikTok. He's heavy on Instagram. He's heavy on the book. He's heavy everywhere on social media. So you know what that means? The average person don't have the eyes to watch his fight, the eyes that he has. You have girls 19 years old watching his boxing fights. You had girls 22 years old going to his fights before COVID. So if you got people who are not normally watching the fight, now are watching the fights, he dictates that. He drives money now. He may not have proved it, but he proved it at the bank. That's the main thing that one of my favorite columnists, I won't say his name right now. I don't want to get the quote wrong. I'll mention another time, but he always says, I don't care about being a superstar in the streets. Just call me a superstar at the bank, baby. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia is a superstar at the bank. For someone his young age can get the contracts he's getting because the butts are in the seats. The butts are watching. They are taking the streams. And it's all correlated. We talk about analytics before the show. He has showcased that I can use my brand and analytics to drive people to watch me fight. So everything you said was so true, but boxing is still a business. So even though I may not be the A side, but if I can generate like Gervonta Davis, he sold out Baltimore his last fight, the stadium that he was in. He sold it out. The pay-per-view did 300,000 buys. So you know what that means? The people dictate that. He didn't have a big amateur career, but we're seeing him knock guys out. Ryan Garcia didn't have the big amateur career, but he's knocking guys out. He's 20-0 with 17 knockouts. So he doesn't have the resume yet, but he's building it too with quality wins. Now, you did make a great point about the one fight he had, but he had the last 2 fights were in great knockout fashion. So, are you right, Jorge? Yes, you are.
I think,
but the business does come first.
So here's the thought on the business aspect of that. The way those 2 fighters are good examples of the way they're building their brand. The way Gervonta Davis is building his brand is through his fists and what he's doing on the ring, right? The way I believe every fighter before him has done.
And he got Floyd Mayweather.
And exactly. And Floyd helps. Yes. Having Floyd in your corner does help, but I would say
Gervonta, especially in the ring too, after a fight, and Floyd's right there wearing his Versace outfits.
Believe me, I ain't watching Gervonta Davis to watch Floyd's Versace.
You know you like them outfits. You know you like his shoes.
You want the outfit. You might want his outfit, but at the end of the day, I came to watch Davis, right? So that's the way I look at it.
I ain't gonna front. Floyd got some code outfits. Y'all can talk about him can't read him, but he can read Louis Vuitton.
It's very easy to spell Louis. It starts with an L.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off like that. But he clean, man.
Yeah,
he's clean. I give credit due. If a brother is squeaky clean like that in the ring with his hats and fedoras now and wearing his $1 million outfits, hey man, I'm sorry.
More power to him. More power to him.
Though he's a professional fighter, has been hitting the head for a living. If he got the spoils of his riches to dress good like that and got 20 women in his harem, all power to him. And sorry to go outside bar.
But you're making my point for me right there, and just in that statement, Gervonta Davis is kind of emulating a similar career. Maybe not the path to get there. God forbid.
Because of different fighters, of course.
Exactly, yeah. But God forbid he turns heel one day, just for the But if he's doing that,
he's doing kind of it by beating up his girlfriend. I hate to say it like that. Oh, there's a video of him snatching his girlfriend's arm up in an event, and he's admitted that he's getting therapy for it. So I can't knock the guy completely. I just got a report was actually there. We said the heel. Yep. He's got some personal issues. He said he's working on it. I'm just doing the due diligence that has to be mentioned.
Yeah. Sounds like some anger issues. I'm hoping he's taking the right therapy, seeing the right doctor, and doing things the right way and trying to handle that relationship better than what he did at that moment, which didn't look good for him.
Yeah, it was reported too. I'm not saying anything for rumor mill fodder. It's actually video out there. The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne, they talked about it as well because he's been on the show several times. He's even admitted to it that he's getting work for it. It's just one of the things I have to bring up because at the end of the day, they are human beings, and so we may rever and love them for what they do in the ring, but we cannot celebrate them what they do outside the ring, especially if they're putting hands on women.
Yep,
I just want to point that out there as well. So, he didn't punch her, but he grabbed her in a way that was not acceptable, people. So I just want to know, I'm pointing that out that I do not condone those actions. And that if he's getting the help, that is good because we're all imperfect people. And if he's doing the work to make sure it doesn't happen again, cool. But if he's actually doing stuff like that, that's not cool as well.
Yep. No, I couldn't say it better myself there. I completely agree. But back to the point I was mentioning about with the fighting and stuff, right? So Floyd built his career similar, in a way that he did it with his fist. Gervonta Davis, no different. He's doing it with his fist, which I can respect, right? So at the end of the day, he's working at his craft, and that's what I'm looking to see. I came to see that.
And Gervonta's 26 here. I have my notes here, but 24-0, 23 knockouts.
Got great power, great career, great rest of his career. I'm actually looking forward to the rest of it and see what he does moving forward. But he's building it the right way, and he's building it in a respectful way, the way I've respected every fighter before him. Right,
knock them out, and that's it. You can't. There is no excuses, no conversations. There is no other thing. When you knock a guy out, you can't say, "Man, that judge in the 11th round." Like we were talking about subjective scoring, I had posted that as well. How I was like, "How could you score 12 rounds for Canelo?" Like the second round, we're going. When you knock a guy out, you don't worry about round 2.
The judge's score don't matter to me.
You just throw him out. Just throw the baby out of the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? And he does it doesn't matter. There's no controversy. The dude is on the mat sleep, and then you give him his belt.
And at this point, Gervonta Davis's resume is looking better anyways. He beat Gamboa. He beat Cruz. I mean, he's looking like the more legit fighter at this point in his career with a better resume, right? No amateur career, but his current pro career is what I care about at this point. And to me, that's what I admire most about that. Garcia, look, at the end of the day, under his promotional company, Golden Boy, they've managed his career to where they needed to manage his career.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought up Golden Boy.
So at this point, he's after that fight with Carlos Morales, he's only had in 4 fights 9 total rounds. So you're telling me in 9 total rounds he's corrected the flaws that I've mentioned: his conditioning, his lack of lateral movement, his fighting too tall, too straight up.
And when you say he's too tall, he's listed at 5'10". He is tall and lanky for a guy his division.
But he fights very, very tall. So he fights tall the way I would want you to fight tall.
Yeah, he fights straight up. He doesn't crunch down.
But at that weight class, both of those fighters tend to be a lot more dynamic, more faster. So he definitely looks huge for that weight class. He definitely will not be in that weight class for a long time. But be it as it may, in his current stature, in the stature that he holds himself in that ring, he allows himself to get exposed to dynamic fighters that I had already mentioned: Davis, Lomachenko, Lopez. Those guys will give him challenges that I don't think he's ready for. And when you're this young in your career, you're basically asking for fights that could end your career sooner than you want to. So yes, to your point, I agree with the fighter. You should try to get as most money as you can for the length of your career. Not if the length of your career is what might be over after 4 fights. That's what I'm getting at. Like, he's going about his business, I think, in the wrong way. I think if he wanted to fight to a lengthy career where he could still make that money near the later parts of his years, and I'm talking about any later parts, I'm talking about like 30, 31, 32, 22 years old. You got a whole lot of boxing in front of you. Fight like you want to get to those years, but then take the advice of your promotional company, your trainers, and say, hey, if this is not the fight for you, it's not to be the fight for you. And he's gotten that advice, and he's avoided it. He's negated it all completely, and he's basically saying, no, I want those fights now. That sounds like a 21-year-old spoiled brat who needs his results now, right? He's not waiting; he wants it now, and that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Or anybody who's followed boxing like we have for so long would rub them the wrong way.
But like I said, though, the business dictates everything. We can call him a brat. He may not have earned it, but he is putting money into Oscar De La Hoya's pocket, and for fights that Oscar would not have made that money on with other fighters. So, like I said, the business, as much as harsh it is, the business dictates so much, and Oscar has no choice now. We never really got a chance to really do a complete deep dive. I want to, just all the ills of him losing Canelo Alvarez. That whole relationship deteriorated, having him for over 10 plus years. When you have the face, I mean, promotional outfits will lose their top guy. That happens. Oscar left Bob Arum. Floyd left Bob Arum. Manny's left Bob Arum. Now you're seeing, Canelo leaving Oscar. It happens. So Oscar's in a situation now that he has to conform to Ryan Garcia's demands, because he went from making minimum $200,000 a fight to $300,000 a fight. Crazy unheard of for a guy of his stature and his development, his career. But this new world of analytics, how we watch fights now, streaming, like people don't just watch boxing on the TV now. How Bob Arum talks about ESPN Plus is a huge driving platform, and he talks about analytics now at 89 years old. They're on DAZN, so everything is on watch time, impressions. What he's doing on Instagram, how they correlate that to their app as well. And Ryan Garcia is either you may hate it, he's gold. The people love him. The people spoke. Now, as soon as he gets knocked out or lose, then we know it's going to be over. That's any boxer, right? As soon as you lose, you see what kind of luster you have, that the people still support you or not. But right now, the people dictate that, because they're paying it. We are the paying public, the viewing public. And if 19 to 21, 22-year-old girls beforehand were coming to the stadiums who weren't coming before, if they're buying the DAZN app and paying $100 a year for it, or $19.99 a month for it, and then they see those numbers, Garcia can do what he wants until he loses. And even when he loses, he still can do that. Case one in mind, Adrian Broner.
Oh, God.
Yes, I'm going to go there. I was a big Adrian Broner fan at first because he talked. He engaged the audience. The problem, though, is that he was given too much too soon.
Yes.
Kind of the way you're speaking about Ryan Garcia right now.
Too much heel too soon.
Too much heel too soon, too, right? Because this is during Floyd's prime, and he saw a market that he tried to capitalize on. Smart idea. Execution was completely bad.
He tried to clone it and do it.
But to his benefit, he did win titles in 4 divisions. Now, maybe only 1 belt, whatever. He still has on his resume. And even now, who's he like 0-2-1 his last several fights now? He hasn't won a fight in a couple of years. His last fight, he lost to Manny Pacquiao, was a year plus ago.
Yep.
But he still drives ratings on Showtime. So he may not get the big $1 million fight next time on Showtime. Best believe when he comes back, Showtime may give him 700,000 or 800,000. It may not be original Broner money, but even in loss, he still drives people. So I see Ryan Garcia in that same mode, but even bigger if he still continues to win. So you can hate him all you want, Jorge. And you know what, though? You are right. There's a lot of folks out here who feel the same way about him. You know, people hate brats. Let's keep it. If you have kids, you don't want your kid to be a brat. He's like, yo, you may not believe in spankings, but you want to spank your kid. But that's business, though, man. What happens when you know that you drive the buck, you are the man. And then him being as young to recognize that, hey, more power to him. May not like it, but hey, I'd rather, as much as I hate he's a brat, I like people who control their own destiny and control their business instead of letting these outfits do that to these fighters for all these years, hundreds of years too. That's one way of looking at it too.
I don't disagree with that sentiment. It's more of the, if he was a boxer first mentality and all that business part was more on the background that he managed and he's able to get the outcome that he desired, then I care more about that as the fan. Right. And I think most boxing fans will like that. And the reason I'm saying this because I really don't care. Like if you have, and when I say I don't care, I care that I'm happy that you get what you just think you deserve. What I don't care about is to hear about it. I care about what are you planning? You know, what is, as a boxing fan, what are you planning for that fight? How's your conditioning? How's your training? What do you think of the other fighter? If you keep it strictly to the sport itself and keep the business aspect out of it, you know, I'll read it in the tabloids, the business part, but I don't really care about it in the interview. I don't care about it if it's a question. I really don't care about it if they're talking about it on an ESPN, on Showtime, on DAZN. I don't care about the business part. Give me the boxing points that matter to the fan, right? If you come with that approach and keep all that other stuff behind the scenes, I'm happy with that. I don't need to hear about it on Twitter, and I don't need to hear about it on a TikTok video or a YouTube video or Facebook. I that part is the part that rubs you the wrong way. And the reason it rubs you the wrong way because then it feels like that's first than the boxing, right? And it's all about perception, right? And if the perception is that you care about their money first, then about what you're doing as part of your sport, then it kind of sucks because to me in my own professional career, I mean, I care about the money, but I care about my career too, though, and what I learned from my career. The money is just a part of what I do for a living, right? And that's the way I think these fighters should be looking at it.
Before we finish up on this here, I want to talk about Teofimo Lopez too, because he fits in this. It's like the holy trinity right now, these guys. Like you have the three, they're between 130 and 135. You know, 135 that Lopez has 3 of the 4 belts. Haney has the WBC belt. Just want to give a little history on. Technically, Teofimo has the franchise title, and that's because WBC made something where that they created some politics thing like where you have some form of WBC belt, but the other guy is now defending. He's a regular title holder, and at any given time, if you're the franchise champion, you can say, "I want my belt back. I don't want to be the franchise champion. I want to be the regular belt holder, make these defenses," and you can make that claim. So that's what happened with Lomachenko. He had the WBC belt, but he didn't want to fight Haney because the money wasn't really there, and the Lopez fight was there, so he had to let that go. Haney got the belt, and so just want to give that that background. So Devin Haney is in the picture, but I don't see him fighting these guys anytime soon. He's on DAZN, and I give it to him. He's talking a good game right now. He makes a lot of money. He's even said, "I make more money than Teofimo Lopez." You do, Devin Haney, but no one knows who you are.
Exactly.
And I love you, Devin Haney. I'm not saying that to be rude or mean, but Eddie Hearn overpaid you, and more power to you for getting overpaid. I respect the hell out of that. You know, everybody was trying to sign you when you was coming out of the amateurs, but just because you make more money doesn't make you the A side. Teofimo's A side. He's on ESPN and he holds that card. So if that fight does happen, you can't say I make more money. That doesn't matter. That's just the fact that Eddie Hearn is overpaying you. Okay.
Just one more thing to add on to that. So that last point kind of goes to what I was mentioning before. Devin Haney, great boxer, but if all you're doing is talk about your money first, you're letting me know that's what's on your mind all the time. And to me, as a boxing fan, that's a turnoff. That's a put up. I care about what you do in the ring, what you do behind the scenes with your money. Again, congrats. You got more. You got overpaid, and you got paid, and you got what you feel you deserve. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't care about it. I care about what you do in the ring. That's your point, David.
Yeah. So I bring him up because of the WBC title that's in the works for if we ever have an undisputed claim. Teofimo wants to put that out there, but technically he doesn't because they didn't have the WBC title in grabs because Devin Haney, because of politics, has it in defending it.
Sure.
But Teofimo is in the conversation. And when it comes to, I said, the holy trinity of these guys, like, what about these young fighters are coming up now? And there was a period for like a year, like, the older guys we were watching, like the 2010s are retiring. And now we got this crop here. Teofimo and Tank Davis, I feel, is the fight eventually. Mm-hmm. That is a fight that will end in a knockout.
Oh, yeah. Someone's going down on that.
Someone's going down. But we best believe that if that does happen, we know that's for all the marbles. We know who is the man. It doesn't matter if it's 130 or 135. Hell, if it happens at 140, because I could see these guys, let's say that policy's getting in the way. I can see this fight happen at 140. Mm-hmm. Let's say that doesn't happen at 130 or 135. They are the same age and the same weight. So even after all stuff, they're going to have to see each other eventually. And I think, too, Floyd's smart man. He is building Tank Davis to be a star. Same thing as Bob Arum. Bob Arum and Floyd may have not seen eye to eye, but they both recognize that there's going to be money here.
Yeah.
ESPN platform, Fox, Showtime. Actually, Davis is more Showtime with his alignment, the way they put him on there, and then the pay-per-view model that he's on now. Floyd, when he sees that pay-per-view of Teofimo Lopez, he's not going to turn that down. Like, he's got him at 300,000 now. The goal is to get him on the 500,000-600,000 marker, and then to see where Teofimo's at with ESPN. We know they're talking behind the scenes. Even though we may not admit a fight may not be happening. Whoops, lost one of my feeds here. So even though a fight may not be happening right then and there, they're talking, they're looking at the money, So when that happens, we'll be good to go on that. So I apologize for those issues here. I had to get my camera back here. So I'm bringing up Teofimo Lopez because he has all three belts, and we're seeing a Tank Davis fight that is going to be huge one day. I say 2022. I don't see it 2021 because the fact that what I was bringing up here is that he has a mandatory in Australia.
Yep.
I was mentioning that on another show in February. And then in the summertime, we'll see what happens at that point. So what do you think about Teofimo Lopez against Garcia or Tank before we move out of here?
I think, like I said, I think Garcia, in my opinion, I've said a lot about Ryan Garcia, but again, I'm saying that because of how young he is still to get into these big fights. I feel like if Ryan Garcia is patient and he waits to build up his career a little bit, build up some rounds, some real rounds, and maybe work his way towards getting a title that's available because he relinquished the belt or something, that's, I think, something to strive for. But that said, it's basically Lopez and Davis's world. You're basically fighting to fight those two, and those two are already on a collision course anyways. So Garcia, I think at this point, is the odd man out, unless he's able to convince one of these two to get in the ring with him. I think that's a mistake from his part. I think he shouldn't be doing that. At that same broadcast of the Carlos Morales fight, Mario Lopez made the same comment at the end of that fight. If you're asking for Davis, I think right now it's not a good time. and the last 4 rounds showed it. So I Garcia, if you're listening, I don't do the fight. Like, I mean, selfishly, I would mind seeing it, but I think for your career, I think it's a bad idea. I think you got some work to do still. And I think if you do the right things and listen to your training camp, I think later down the road, maybe in a couple of years, you get that fight. Right now, it's Davis and Lopez. They're on a collision course. And I think you're probably right. They'll probably get to 140. If they don't fight at 135, it's going to be at 140. I agree with you there.
So to recap here, January 2nd on DAZN. I don't know if anybody has a description to DAZN, but I actually pulled it back up again. I had it. I was actually real banter. I was part of their pilot team a couple years ago when I was testing out the app, and I had it free for a while. Then once COVID happened, I canceled because no live fights. Why am I paying them if there's no fights?
Exactly.
I can't. But now that fights are back, I actually went ahead and got the subscription because of Canelo. He's gonna fight a couple of times this year. It looks like on DAZN, and you add Ryan Garcia. So I want to see how this outcome comes because we're gonna get a lot of questions answered on Saturday night. We're gonna see if Ryan Garcia's actually got the goods. We know he's got power. That's one thing that is we cannot question. He has power. When he hits you, you feel it. Guys go down. So we're going to see when this power goes against a top 10 guy. Is he good enough for Tank Davis or Teofimo Lopez? We don't know. We actually have our doubts because we don't think he's ready. But he can silence everybody this Saturday. He can have a tremendous outing Saturday night where we'll come back Sunday or Monday, be like, whoa, that can happen.
That could happen.
Because he's fighting a guy that can prove that for us now. For all the things that you say you do not like about him and you hate about him, he could shut everybody up Saturday night. It could be midnight and we were like, yo, we got to change everything we talked about now.
Not change everything we talked about, but what I'm looking for is some improvement. That's what I'm looking for, right? I mean, like I said, you've only fought 9 rounds total since your fight with Carlos Morales. And that was a veteran with no knockout power that basically exposed you a lot. And you're fighting now a true top 10 guy in the division that fought Lomachenko, fought Linares, and fought them well. I think Campbell is going to give him problems, but I also can see if Campbell makes a mistake, Garcia's got power to make you pay for that mistake that you make. But I mean, again, folks, if you see the Garcia-Carlos Morales fight, watch that full fight, 10 rounds, and you'll basically see you'll come to the same conclusion I think that I've came up with, right? And I think Campbell, if anybody watches Campbell's previous fights with Lomachenko and Linares, you'll kind of come to that same conclusion as well. Like, unless Campbell just kind of sticks his face there and says, hit me, like Prince Nasima, would do, then then he's gonna go down. But I don't think he's gonna fight that dumb. So, but we'll see.
Predictions.
Stupid things happen.
Predictions. Who do you think is gonna win? Because we're gonna do a show after the fight. So let's give the predictions now and let's see if our predictions come true.
My prediction, it's going to be a split decision win for Garcia, and it'll be controversial too, because I have a feeling he shouldn't win the fight, but because it's on DAZN and, judges get paid too, on the record and off the record, shit happens.
You know what I'm going with? I'm going with a 10th round stoppage for Garcia. Yeah, I went there. Yes, I did.
Is this a 12-round fight? I believe it's a 12-round fight.
It's for the WBC interim belt, so it's a championship fight. So we're going to the championship rounds. But I say it don't get to round 11. I say that the fight is going to get stopped by round 10. Garcia on stoppage, TKO.
The Carlos Morales fight went the full 10 rounds. That was a 10-round fight. So this will be Ryan Garcia's first 12-round fight. Yep. Well, no, he's probably had 12-round fights, but
this type of distance, this type of fighter. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm saying 10th round stoppage. I'm really feeling more 9, but I'm going 10. I'm gonna say that it's a 10th round TKO.
All right.
Yeah.
Then we'll have something to talk about on Sunday.
You weren't expecting me to go there, were you?
Well, of course you're gonna. No. I known you for a long time.
But you didn't think I was gonna go Ryan Garcia here.
No, I knew you would.
Oh,
I know you would. No, because because selfishly, I think like you're thinking selfishly as well. You want to see him fight Davis. That's what I mean. I'm not gonna BS here. I want to see that fight.
I want to see the fight, but I know who's gonna win.
Yeah,
it's I know. We all know we want to see Gervonta Davis against Garcia, and then of course we want to see Tank win, and then we want to see Teofimo Lopez, and then boom, and then maybe Teofimo fights Devin Haney, and then you have all the marbles at 135. Yeah. That's the boxing nerd thing, to have the unification, and then you have your little round robin and everybody that's on at the end. That's not going to happen. But a man can box and dream. But I am really thinking that, not just because of what I want, I really think that Garcia is going to stop him. I think that Garcia's power, for as much as said we can bash him, his power is legit. And I think that Luke Campbell is not going to be able to handle it for 9-10 rounds because of the length and the reach. We talked about how he does fight straight up and he does use his arms. When he throws his jab out there, it is not, if you really look at it, it's straight. It's technical. He has his skills is there. It's just the fact that the resume is truly not there. So I just want people to know that he can fight. The boy can fight. It's just the fact that he doesn't have the resume that's proved it. And Saturday, as much as we talked about him, I think he's going to prove it.
Campbell is a similar fighter to Garcia. And I'm talking about in terms of the dimensions. I think their metrics are the same. I think their heights are not that far off. I think their reaches are not that far off. Where they differ is in terms of speed, hand speed. But I also think that, if you get into a ring with Lomachenko and you gave Lomachenko, according to him, before he fought Lopez, one of his toughest fight, you've done something to change Lomachenko's point of view in terms of how you fight. And Campbell fought he's a smart fighter. He's not a dumb fighter. He's a smart fighter. Got good footwork. I just want to see. I'm just curious to see if he will pressure him and go after the body the way Morales did. Because once Morales hit him in the body, again, I have questions about his conditioning. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10. That round, he lost all 4 of those rounds, Garcia. He did not want to get hit anymore. He don't want to get hit in the body. He don't want to get in the face anymore. He definitely overprotects his face and exposes his body quite a bit. Take a look, folks.
So we got our predictions there. I'm saying late TKO stoppage. Jorge thinks controversial split decision. So everybody check out the zone, or if you don't got the zone, check out the results. And we're going to talk about it right after the fact too as well, because we made predictions and if we're wrong, you got to hold us to the fire on that one.
Hey, look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I'm right. Either way, you're going to get a show on from us next week.
That's right. Hey, man, we're going to have to close up shop here.
Yeah.
This was just a fight preview show. First one of the new year. So check out the zone and we're going to be back. Once again, like and subscribe, people. If you don't, I'm going to think you're a hater. It's real simple. Just click on the button. 2 buttons. Click one for the like video, other one for subscribe. Boxing Now Podcast on YouTube. Also, Facebook, Boxing Now, Instagram, Boxing Now Podcast. Also, Twitter, @Boxing Now Podcast. Also, the website, boxingnownonline.com. Go ahead and bookmark that, baby. Come on. Just give us some love. We're looking for it. We're just talking boxing. That's all it is. You guys like to fight. People want to see fights. People like people getting beat up. And we're just talking about it. Hey, what you got, Jorge?
Live_Dominoes. You can find me at Twitch. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8 p.m. And one more thing I wanted to add about about liking us. Even if you don't like us, hit that button too. But give us a reason. Give us a reason what we can do to improve the show, improve the content for you. Any feedback is good feedback. There's nothing that can offend us at this point.
Right.
I just want to hear what we can do to give you better content.
That's right. We grown men here. If y'all don't like us, y'all don't like us. Tell us why you don't like us. If you don't like boxing, hey, then we understand that. You can just go watch baseball, basketball, football. But if there's something that we talked about, hey, let us know. You can email us too. Boxing Now on Boxing Now Podcast @gmail.com as well. You can email us as well, or just go in the comment section. So, Jorge, do you have any final comments before we ride out of here?
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And looking forward to January 2nd in this fight.
That's right. So I hope everybody had a great, happy holidays. Happy New Year. 2021 is here. It's going to be better than 2020. We'll be bringing more shows. And until next week, we'll be back, people. Take care.
2021's already better. We have a new fight already.
That's right. Boxing Now. See you later.
See you.